All right, guys, welcome back here to Kings of Storm Weekly number 9. I am Solid Jake,
And I'm Kubi.
and we're getting ready here for the grand finals.
Yes, of Kings of the Storm Weekly number 9.
Wow, what an
Yeah.
event! What an event! The final qualifier before
Yes.
Kings of the Storm 5. Now
Yep.
we have 3 qualifiers for every big event.
Yep.
Of course, we had Kings 4 many weeks ago. It seems now.
I know, right?
And Kings 5 is going to be the big event. Prize pool's bigger, stakes are higher. All the top teams that have earned their spots are in those tournaments.
I believe it is an 8-man qualifier. So whichever teams have earned the most points over these past 3 qualifier events, the top 8 teams will be seeded into a bracket based on their seed, of course. It is a double elim bracket,
Yes.
so obviously more chances to make comebacks, etc. So it should be good. There'll be a ton of matchups for you guys. I don't know how many streams we're going to have at this point. At least 2, I would imagine.
It'll be just 2.
Yeah,
It'll
just
be
the 2 matches.
Just
Okay,
2 for
so
next week. So that's what's going to be happening for that. And we're going to Cursed Hollow. I see Glaurung blowing up your chat. He's saying Cursed. And then he says Cappuccino.
I don't
Hasserino.
even know how I
Cappuccino.
feel about that.
Glaurung's a silly guy.
He is a very silly man.
And we're going to get ready for our map here. So hashtag production things as we prepare the draft. And we're going to get that going in just a moment now. Cursed Hollow, game number 1. It's really just Cursed and Dragonshire as our initial maps typically. And we're getting this set up here.
Yeah, so this will be our first time casting SMG this game.
Oh,
or this
today.
tournament.
Yeah. Look at all these golden thralls in the lobby right now. If we just look at our lobby here, 3 golden thralls. Such talented people using those golden thralls. They know what's up.
Jake loves Thrall, of course. That's why we're getting this silly banter. Oh, boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
Oh, boy.
And Cursed Hollow SMG versus Barrel Boys is going to be, again, our map here. Now, lobby's getting set up. The teams are ready. Let's take a look at the bracket, though,
Sure.
while we're getting everything ready, getting this lobby prepared. Once again, we can see the journeys that the teams have been on at SMG. They do have the top seed, so they have that top position. They placed ESV Tempest in round 2, defeating them. They went over Cloud9 Maelstrom in a 2-0 upset, defeating them 2-0. Not really an upset necessarily, but still, Maelstrom SMG, those are the 2 top dogs here in North America. And to 2-0, either way, is going to be kind of like, wow, they actually... I didn't see the games. The replays will exist, and there's a good chance that somebody will hop in and cast those games at some point, because I'm sure everybody would like to see those matches, even after the fact. And on the flip side, Barrel Boys made their way over Quantum Cat, Cloud9 Vortex, and Murlocs Inc., upsetting both Vortex and Murlocs.
Yeah, they're having their pretty good run here. Let's see what kind of damage they can do versus Symbiote Gaming, who have had easily the strongest tournament record so far, especially in Kings events. So, I think we have... The lobby appears to be ready.
Oh, is it? Oh, look at that. It's a full lobby, and we're transitioning to our draft here. Boom, bam, boom, pressing a lot of buttons, and there it is. The pick ban process will begin momentarily as all 10 members are available, and the Murlocs are slowly appearing on the wrong side. It's not Murlocs Inc., but the Murlocs.
The Murlocs are still there.
All
They're
right.
just trickling back in. All right, so back to Cursed Hollow. Will this be the... We've only had 2 games today where Stitches wasn't banned,
Wow.
but he was first picked in those 2 games. The ban on the Tass and Stitches. Huge surprise.
Huge surprise indeed.
Huge
No,
surprise.
pretty standard stuff. Now, I can almost promise you that if Stitches was banned out by Barrel Boys, Tassadar would have been banned out by Symbiote, because Symbiote actually really likes to ban out Tassadar. And Tychus is going to be the first pick here for Barrel Boys. Followed by Arthas Kerrigan. Thank you, Glaurung.
Is that a yellow Kerrigan? Peeled? Get it?
I guess so.
Peels? Banana?
I was thinking more like
It's a
Batman.
very elaborate joke. I wouldn't...
I was thinking more like Batman than
Oh,
Banana,
okay.
because it's
All
like
right.
more like na.
All right. I'll give it to you.
Yep.
Just this once, though.
Yeah, good.
All right, so they immediately follow up with this Arthas Kerrigan. They're saying, hey, people aren't prioritizing. What's going on here? You guys have forgotten about the lost art of the Arthas Kerrigan Rome double and Venom combo.
And
It's scary. It's a force to be reckoned with. SMG still believes in it. We're going to see some of that in this first game here of the Grand Finals.
And we've seen just the terrifying aggressiveness that SMG can do with this kind of style, especially with Soldier and Glaurung playing Kerrigan. Now, if you guys didn't know that, if you guys missed the tournament last week, Glaurung is no longer with Glorious.
Yes.
Glorious has lost Glaurung and ZPs. ZP is no longer with them as well, and Glorious is in the process of rebuilding. They still have their other 3 original members, but as it stands, Glaurung playing with Symbiote has put Mad Timmy off, and now Dreadnought is their support player. So
This is true. Formerly their tank, now it seems to be a role that swaps up between Soldier and Glarong sometimes.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll have to we'll pay a little bit of attention to see who's playing what on SMG here, because that can rotate quite a bit. There are very many versatile players on SMG. Now I'm curious to see what kind of strategy Barrel Boys is going to use going into this. It looks as though, I'm just looking back on some of their drafts, a good chunk of the games that they've won, they have had that Tyrael dive style. That has been working out pretty well for them, and they're actually pretty good at dealing with it too, because the times that people have thrown it at them, they've dealt with it appropriately. So that's something that we could look for. They do value that Tyrael somewhat high, because Arthas and Stitches are both off the board. That may be something that they're looking at. I don't think, have they grabbed Muradin yet so far? I don't think
Barrel
so.
Boys?
Yeah.
No,
I haven't. We haven't seen Barrel Boys play Muradin. They may not feel very comfortable with it. That said, I'd say there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be going for Tyrael at some point here.
Whoa. So Val and Uther are picked up by Barrel Boys, but we're seeing Tyrande Nazebo. We've seen Arthlon's Tyrande on this map, and it's really fun and exciting to watch. It's kind of like that Tassadar where it's half support, half damage, but he tops the damage charts because Tyrande does a lot of... It's not burst, but it's still a lot of sustained
it's very
damage.
sustained, and it has to do with the owls. I
Yep.
mean, you're going to hit a lot of those owls, especially with Pierce and the level 16 upgrade. So,
But
yeah, you're right. It's not burst. It's quite a bit of sustained damage, and including that Starfall. That's the heroic that he tends to grab, especially with the battle momentum at level 7. So he's got that up pretty often.
But what I really like about Arthlon's Tyrande, I mean Tyrande in general, not just the fact that you get the vision, but with the Kerrigan Arthas, we've seen this before. The lockdown, the roots, and then you have the Lunar Flare thrown at that with Hunter's Mark II. Good night, sweet prince. I don't care who you are, you're going to die. You're just going to get eliminated if you get pulled into that Primal Grasp and they're in position.
Yeah.
So already terrifying stuff, and then you just throw this Ravenous Spear in the back line, and you...
Yeah.
What do you do?
I don't know.
We'll see how they respond. Now,
I think we're going to see Falstad Tyrael. That's my guess.
Now that's scary to think about as it is, because Falstad, Tychus, and Vala all on one team with Uther. It doesn't matter who your tank is. It's gonna be a powerhouse. Just a lot of ranged damage coming out of this team. Like you mentioned, Muradin, maybe that's what they want as their tank.
I mean, the fact that they haven't played it at all today and they've had opportunities to grab it just makes me kind of think that they probably don't feel particularly comfortable on it. It's Curse Fairy is usually the one picking up their warrior slot, and maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable on Muradin. So that's fine. His Tyrael's been looking pretty solid today.
So Tyrael Falstad, do you think?
That's my guess.
Well, we're going to find out in just a few. And they're just kind of waiting on their pick right now. Giving them that 30-second warning in the chat right now. Do they pick up Tyrael and Falstad? They have that dive potential. ETC
Not even close
Zeratul.
to what I was thinking. Okay, let's talk about ETC Zeratul.
Brightwing instantaneously.
This is
Dread
okay. This
grabs
is the
Buttwing.
thing we saw last time. This is what we saw last time. I'm like almost shaking my head here. I say we saw a team grab ETC after Tyrande, and it was a disaster.
And you have to consider Tyrande and Kerrigan.
I think
we're gonna
it's
see
very
Sage
similar to that draft, except that they had Uther as their healer instead of Brightwing. But like it's got to be Stage Dive, right? It has to be. Like at this point, like if they don't grab Stage Dive, I'd
be
quite
shocked.
upset.
I'd be shocked, honestly.
I'll be odd.
I'd be Hinterland's blast, apparently. Guys, this is going to be the lineups for both teams. We're seeing, Brightwing having that incredible mobility on the map available. Falstad not picked up in this game. Falstad has incredible mobility, Bribe, very powerful on this map, but he's not picked up. Two different kind of styles here being shown. A lot of lockdown for Symbiote Gaming. Game 1 of our grand finals is about to begin.
So there's a couple ways that they can play into this ETC Zeratul combo. If Zeratul, because it's an instantaneous cast on that Void Prison, you're looking at situations where, yeah, if you happen to catch all 5 of them in a Void Prison, certainly that gives an opportunity for ETC to run up and dance as soon as it gets worn off. That's a possibility. I don't expect to see that often. What's more likely to happen is that you will have a dance catching, say, 3 people or so, and then the Void Prison will be used to lock out the other 2 people. They can focus down the people that are in the dance, especially when you have Tychus and Odin and Vala probably going to go strafe. Maybe it's also possible to go Rain of Vengeance here. Either way, high damage output. It could work. It's a possibility. But they're going to have the coordination, like all 5 people are going to have to be locked out there. So
yeah, we'll see what happens here. The game will be unfolding, but Cora, let's get our teams introduced.
Absolutely. So on the blue side for Symbiote Gaming, we have Glaurung on Kerrigan. Dreadnought's going to be playing Brightwing. Arthlon on Tyrande. Soldier's going to be playing Arthas this game. And to round it out, we have KO on Nazebo.
And on the other half of the map, we do have Barrel Boys making their way here through a lot of tough opponents.
Yes.
McIntyre will be playing as Zeratul. We do have Trumbull playing as Tychus. Blinks will be playing as Uther in the top lane. It's going to be Curse Fury playing as the one and only ETC. And in the back here, fans just kind of body blocking some minions on Vala.
Look at that. They have like a snake strategy to it. Do you see the...
It's so pretty.
A little slalom.
The
getting
hearts
down to the bottom.
just kind of keep them mesmerized and walking a little bit more
Oh,
slowly.
I missed one.
Terrible.
9 out of 10.
Looking for that aggression there on McIntyre, but he's going to be just fine. Glaurung and Arthlon making their ways to this watchtower. Going to see if they can steal that. As that's stolen, yeah, there's 3 in the bottom lane, but they're going to know something's up. We can see Blinks just looking here to throw down that hammer if needed, and they're just rotating back on up to the top lane. The wall is there on McIntyre, but he should be able to blink on back.
Yeah. Very little risk there. It's going to be rare to pick up that early kill on Zeratul unless he blinks into a situation where he's shouldn't have.
And that's going to be very uncommon to see
right.
at this level of play. For sure.
So I'm looking at the talents for level 1. Nothing crazy, man. It's all just pretty standard stuff. I mean, I guess we have seen some Zeratul's going block. Here he's opting to go for the reduction for cooldown on Blink. That's fine too. Block on ETC. That's just for that extra sustain going in. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how these post-10 fights are going to unfold.
It's going to get really interesting.
I think it's going to be disastrous for Barrel Boys unless they can lock down all 5 members in some combination of Dance and Void Prism. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, pretty cautious play right now. Glaurung's going in with the Primal Grasp, but a nice dash up by Trumbull, not going the common path in, making sure he's safe there. Bottom lane just being pressured pretty hard. Dread, we're seeing on his right wing, and he's going to try to soak up those bribe sacks as he is the one guy playing with bribe this game.
Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, playing against Kerrigan, the best way to actually dodge that combo is to run perpendicular to the path between you and Kerrigan, just so that you they have to basically guess which way that you're going to go if that's how you choose to dodge. So that puts it into a guess situation rather than it being guaranteed. We saw Tychus do exactly that. He used his dash to dash immediately north and get out of the way of that combo, which probably saved his life in that situation.
Interesting
so well played.
Positioning by Arth and Glaurung.
Yeah, it is.
They're kind of trying to make sure no one comes in through the backside.
It's kind of funny because Barrel just went all the way around.
Yeah.
They didn't know about it.
They did.
This could be bad, though.
Well, McIntyre blinks out immediately. Now Primal Grasp is still available. That full lock on the Kerrigan going to be available. Seeing the healing ward here on the Tyrande, going that hybrid build. Ooh, KO taking a lot of damage from the top lane. Curse Fury gets knocked out, pulled in from the Primal Grasp from the Lunar Flare, but he's going to fall either way here. And the zombie wall almost hitting hitting Fan here, but Fan is able to get right on out.
ETC went a little bit too far forward just to try to knock Dreadnought out of channeling that tribute there.
He paid for it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, the Envenom was it's a bit much.
They like the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's a situation you wouldn't expect them to be in. And between the Envenom, Primal Grasp, Impale, and Lunar Flare, Hunter's Mark, they can probably kill some people. And they say, hey, they're not going to go deal with this. We're just going to take their Giants. I like the play, to be honest with you. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter's Mark with a Kerrigan. You have the heal, the sustain here. It's such a strong team for just blowing up Giants like that. 3 members here in the bottom. They have to be saying, where are they? Where are they? Where are they?
Yeah.
As soon as the Giants picked up, they're going to be like, oh, of course.
Yeah, they'll roll their eyes for a second, I'm sure. But, I mean, they did wait there for some time. And they said, okay, they don't care about this. It's free time for us to go take their Giants in. They did just that. And they're going to have to back up to deal with that.
Soldier getting a lot of aggression in this top lane. I mean, he's able to push ETC pretty hard. He has no fear. He knows he can just back on up. He just wants to get the experience from that first tower. He's going to do that and just leave right away. We can see these Giants getting cleaned up almost immediately. But Glaurung and Arthlon are here, and they get the kill on Uther.
Yeah, well played on their part. I mean, that's exactly the type of thing they were trying to set up, and they do actually have this kill. It's pretty nice for them to pick up that second tribute there.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as good time as you could ask for. Tribute will be spawning in about 3 seconds here. Uther spawning in 1 second. So unless they can delay properly, it's going to be a 4v5.
I imagine they'll give up. The problem is they're not soaking right now. They are losing a good bit of experience in that mid lane. As you can see, that is translating to a decent experience lead for SMG. Getting close to a level lead, not quite, but... So the way the tributes work on this map is, of course, once a single team has collected up to 3 tributes, they are granted a curse, which forces the enemy structures to no longer fire any of their ammunition, and also the creeps have 1 HP. As you can imagine, this will give them a significant push advantage, whether they choose to split push, all go down one lane, etc. But we'll have to see. They are at 2 out of 3 tributes right now.
I want to point out the fact that it's Tyrande Kerrigan roaming, not Arthas Kerrigan. And it's actually pretty cool, pretty interesting. Different.
I would say that Tyrande actually has higher damage output in that case.
Oh, definitely.
She still has the stun.
Yeah.
So it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's quite cool. And I'm liking this a lot, and they're just getting a lot of Merc camps too. I mean, they've picked up the first 2 Merc camps of the game, the defensive Knights, or their side Knights rather, and the offensive Giants, and they're up 2-0 in tributes, and they have level 10.
Yes. Apparently, Glaurung is not a fan of the Ultralist camp side of things. I have seen him grab nothing but Maelstrom even since the patch went through, so still prefers the Maelstrom. Wow. He is quite good with it. He knows, all the situations that he can get in and out of. And of course, we saw Jake highlighting the, I will say, interesting pickup that is Cleanse and Emerald Wind.
No,
but there is some healing on Tyrande as well with the healing ward and the heal ability too. So you have like kind of 2 half healers making up, I guess, 1.
All right, KO taking a lot of damage. See Dread coming in, but he's going to be too late. The protective shield goes down, but it's not going to be enough. Dread's going to end up falling as well. He tried to use Emerald Wind there, but did not get off. That's 2 members down on the side of Symbiote Gaming, and that's going to be a runaway.
Wow, look at this!
It's 3 members picked up. Odin is used aggressively here. They're going to try to body block. Starfall goes down. Arthon's going to get melted instantaneously, and wow.
That was a statement play right there. They just basically picked SMG apart. KO was too far forward. They probably just lost track of where the rest of Barrel Boys was. Got that kill real fast. Unfortunately, Brightwing, dives in on him right as he dies. That means Brightwing dies immediately, and then you're looking at a 3v5 for the rest of it. So
yeah, I mean, Dread wanted to Emerald Wind there. He wanted to disperse them, but he wasn't able to get it off. The stun was there, and the game started off with a really strong point. Like, they were just getting the roams, they're getting the Mercs, they're getting everything going well for SMG. But the second level 10's hit, Barrel Boys take the lead.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we saw the dance there wasn't necessary, but I mean, they did a lot of work there. I mean, good on them to capitalize the situation. So we do see that they have, at least they've taken their top giant. They opted not to contest the bottom one. I think that probably would have been a bit greedy, especially considering that they would have been walking into the fight, not on their terms. So I think this is good enough. They'll probably go back down, clean that up, and get a little bit of push top.
Giants doing a decent job help defend this Grave Golem, and the bottom Grave Golem will get cleaned up right quick by Fan and McIntyre. They're very aggressive to make sure they defend that, and we just have Soldier helping defend this. The fort taking a bit of damage. The wall has been knocked down entirely, whereas this Golem just gets the 1 tower.
Yep.
In the middle of the map, though, we do have a lot of aggression out of SMG trying to poke down that wall, and the Headway delivering some mail, getting some vision as to where they are, seeing that they're taking the Giants.
So it looks as though the rest of the heroics will be up within 10 seconds again. That's when we might see a fight over this tribute, actually. Timings are pretty good. Mosh Pit will be up.
Level 13 talent's being picked up here. Rewind, a rewind for SMG, and a sprint. And what does Arthas opt to grab here? Does he do anything weird for us? We have double Relentless on the other side. They know the lockdown is going to be
probably going to be a Relentless.
And there
could be Spell Shield, but more often than not Relentless. And that's what it is.
So we see Dreadnought taking a lot of damage in the bottom lane. We can pull this back, and both teams are going to be fighting very cautiously. They do have the Ravenous Spirit. They're able to set up, and it doesn't happen here. We can see the wall just gets disrupted by ETC, so let's get out of my way.
It looks like as though SMG is doing a pretty nice job zoning this fight. They don't have enough positional advantage yet to cap this tribute. You can see, and I think that Barrel Boys is looking for that situation to
with Arth and Dread kind of out of the position here. Dread can of course come up here with the phase shift, throwing that owl down to just disrupt. Again, blinks instantaneously, tries to start capping again, but the Arcane Flare to zone them back. Soldier and Flowering in the top lane get a lot of damage done. Shoot Fan, the Starfall not quite enough. Soldier going so low, he can't get Army of the Dead off in time to heal him up. Starfall still getting a lot of sustained damage done to them, though. Glaurung going in, pull forward. Does he have it? He should have rewind. He should be able to do this. Oh, the owl is so close, and he waited too long. He just did not manage to get up. They tapped the well. They came back into the battle here. Blinks, very low. Ravenous Spirit goes on to Blinks. Emerald Wind zoning for the Ravenous Spirit for a little while. He needs to disengage that. Glaurung going to get hit by the Divine Storm, and he's going to fall as well. So back and forth, but it's going in favor of Barrel Boys. A nice zombie wall, but it's not enough to zone them out, and he's going to fall as well, and only Dread remains.
That was some ridiculous rotations. there was a lot of weird stuff going on there in terms of like the positioning. We saw a situation where SMG was pushing really far forward, and they just barely weren't able to kill Fan with that Starfall. Went back in, Soldier pushed out too far. It was just like a lot of like weird overextensions from one team, and then the other team would overextend, each team trying to capitalize on those kills. In the end, though, SMG only ended up picking up the kill on Uther, I think, and it was a 4-for-1 basically. So they are going to be rewarded with this fort down here.
And level advantage, they're approaching 16. That's almost 2 levels up. One thing I want to point out about Barrel Boys that we've seen consistently throughout the day is they know when to back up and rotate back in.
Yeah.
And they constantly do that really well. They actually, in the middle of a fight, they backed up. They knew they were in a bad spot. They backed up. They tapped the well. Came back in.
Yep.
And, you know, that's just proving that the value of that well is going to be...
Yeah, it was smart. I mean, I think it was a situation where SMG was expecting them to completely retreat, and they were like, okay, well, we can at least chase down this ETC here. He barely dashed out of that situation, and then the 3 members just rotated back in.
Cool. Just McIntyre throwing that damage down. He's got the double spikes at level 16. We can look at the double 16 talents here. Stone Skin, just sustainability, gathering radiance, really going for a more sustained style. But look at this. The Starfall is there. The Void Prism, Divine Storm, blowing KO up, but he sprints with the Emerald Wind, helping kill for him, and the Ravenous Spirit is going to town right now. It looked terrible for SMG, but that Ravenous Spirit is making everything all right. They lose Kerrigan, but 3 members are down on the other side. Look at McIntyre. He's going to see if he can find anyone weak. He's just kind of looking. He's perfectly safe being there himself.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, and he finds Dread. Does Dread have Poly? He throws down the arcane flare, and he gets it, but the grenade from Tychus gets the kill. What a play. Now, this is a curse picked up by SMG, but Trouble? Oh, Howling Blast is going to end your days.
Wow. Okay. So SMG turns that around, taking a 5-for-3. Yep. It was pretty bold play coming out of the Zerto there, trying to pick up that kill on Bright. I mean, he almost had it. I mean, not quite enough.
Tychus got it, but he paid his life for it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So that was interesting to see that. Now, actually, I want to back up just a little bit to that previous fight that we saw that Barrel Boys ended up taking. I didn't actually give a chance to credit the Void Prison that happened. Like, that really made or break, like, the start of that fight for Barrel Boys, because they were able to zone out a bunch of people right away, and that's what allowed them to start that off of that kill on Soldier. So props for that Void Prison there, but we saw SMG just say, no, we're not tilted by that. We're just going to take this ridiculous team fight. Yeah. No problem.
And they take out the fort and then rotate down to the boss. The boss will then pressure the bottom lane. The bottom lane will probably end up falling before the boss even gets there because of the curse here. And we're going to see Barrel Boys picking up their boss. Now, they're being very cautious here. And looks like they're going to start it right now as they realize they're probably safe. The Hedwig delivering 2 packages exactly. What a good owl.
What a good owl.
There's the boss picked up here by Soldier.
Hey, is this a change in the Tyrande build? Wasn't he grabbing the extra range and width on Lunar Flare at 13?
It's not something that's consistent. It's
he's
kind of reactionary.
Okay.
But yes, he looks like he did opt for a rewind in this game. I like it because double Lunar Flare sometimes is more viable, especially since they're the ones that have the Nazebo. He's not trying to stun out the Nazebo, so the increased range might not make as much of a difference. Gotcha. So I like the rewind choice.
All right. Very nice. And while we're at it, we can talk about some of the other talents too. We have, of course, Blood for Blood on Kerrigan. That's just for the extra sustain. Ranger, that's extra, what is that?
Damage and width.
Yes, damage and width.
Increases in damage as it travels. Yep.
Yes. Bunch of Stone Skins, Arthas, ETC, Tychus, another Blood for Blood on Vala. Gathering Radiance, that's a different one. We don't usually see that on Uther. Which is, of course, for every target that he hits with the heal, he gets more healing. That's fine, and of course, it's pretty standard double bombs. Not any particularly strange picks there. All normal stuff for level 16. Pretty close game, too. We do have that Golem is pushing really, really hard top lane, and it looks as though he should be able to get this wall down.
They get the wall. I don't think he'll get a tower.
Maybe
it's going to be close, but with Glaurung here, blowing him up. Oh, Arthlon is going to throw that Hunter's Mark down instantaneously, and yeah, they'll blow it up to save that tower for the time being.
Ha!
Nope.
He made you look like a fool.
He did. He did. He got that last hit off. Now the Owl there to zone once again. They're picking up these Giants here. Map is very blue, but I like this. They're setting up for a potential gank. If anyone comes anywhere near this bush, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. And if Arth and Glau happen to be the ones in the front,
yeah. So, of course, wow, look at this. Nice play. So, wow, they actually just really knew exactly where they were.
That was actually quite impressive, honestly.
Yeah, they looked at the situation, Barrel Boys did, and they said, what's the next likely rotation point for SMG to go to? And they said, okay, we're looking at it. The Knights are the next camp that's going to pop up.
Yeah.
That's probably where SMG is going to go. Let's try to see if we can set up a nice little party bush here. Didn't end up panning out. SMG's probably seen quite a few teams attempt to do this, so it's good play on their part to recognize that that was the situation, and good play on Barrel Boys to figure out that that's probably the best thing that they could do, given what was available on the map.
So Dread currently soaking the mid lane. They need to make sure they stop this. Spiders are there. The headway going to be able to interrupt that cap. Blanks being very persistent with it, trying to cap it again. Soldier in the front line. Does he pop Army of the Dead? How soon does he pop it? I think he needs to use it. There it goes. Void Prism, though, being a big part of the story. He goes in. Starfall zoning them out, and this is going to be a big turn. Where's the Emerald Wind? How much can it do? No, the dance is just doing too much. KO ends up falling. Blink's going to fall on the opposite side, though. Trummel has to just back on up here with the Odin. Emerald Wind was saved so late and didn't get enough done.
They actually got a pretty good amount of work done with that dance. Yeah, I got to say, I'll give them credit for that. That really was a big turning point. Oh, no, they're just stuck around for a little bit too long. That's a dead soldier. Yeah,
it is. He tried to turn around and get Fan there, but no dice. VP dance.
Yeah, I mean, it did a pretty good job zoning, and then they were able to set up to get ETC in there to dance. Caught, I think, at least 3 people there, and they just didn't have the stuns available to deal with it. So.
Yeah, I mean, Brightwing got caught, and that's pretty much what it boiled down to. If Brightwing wasn't on top, if Brightwing had been out of there, Poly instantly removed that. Emerald Wind was needed, but not able to be used.
Yeah, they either need that or they need the Lunar Flare, one of those two, just to make sure that they can cancel it. It just wasn't available for them. So this is huge. It's a curse. I would imagine they're going to take 2 forts. I don't think they have enough time to go after the core yet. But, I mean, why not take 2 keeps here? Get a bunch of experience.
Yeah, I mean,
still have another 30 seconds on this.
It's just 3 members they're up against at this point in time. This 4 is about to fall here in the grenade just to clean it up, and the Knights are going to pick up as well.
I wonder why this is very passive. Very passive. I wonder why they're doing this. They know they have another, 10 seconds or so that they can grab that keep, and they're just backing up. Not really sure I agree with that, to be honest.
Right now, Tyrande out healing Brightwing and out damaging just the power of healing Ward and stuff like Starfall, topping out the charts right now by Arthlon.
I mean, that makes sense. That's what we were expecting, just based on the build the Brightwing has with Cleanse and Emerald Wind. She's not really going to be doing a whole lot of healing.
Right, that's why you have the secondary healer to make that a viable build, which is cool. But yeah, right now, I mean, it's looking good. Both teams have hit level 20. We can look at those talents. Triple bolts for each team. Divine Hurricane, the big red button. Storm Shield, which is going to help a lot for SMG, as the opposing team does not have Storm Shield. And then we do have the Legion of Northrend.
The Legion of Northrend. That's really the only viable option, but that said, we get to see the Legion of Northrend.
Where is the Emerald Wind? I feel like they need it. We see that dance got interrupted instantaneously, but doesn't matter because Divine Hurricane hitting almost everything. That Storm Shield being used there. The Ravenous Spirit going in. The Bolt Forward from Glowering to secure that kill, and they end up making it a 1-for-1 right now.
Ooh, Trummel too far forward, I think.
Yeah, SMG does have the advantageous position here. Trummel gets pulled apart. The rewind into the Lunar Flare.
Yep.
And that's a 2-for-1 right now.
Yeah, I thought he was sticking around a little bit too far. He should have just backed up entirely. That was a good pick from SMG there. And yeah, they dealt with the dance just about immediately, and that was also a pretty nice setup. Like, basically once they dealt with the dance, ETC said, okay, I gotta get out of here, so he started running away. That was when they had the Ravenous come out because they knew that Gazebo was safe, so they got a lot of value out of that. They did end up taking the edge in that team fight 2-1. This allows them to get the leg up on their Golem. They're gonna be able to push further, I would presume.
McIntyre versus Glowering right now. Look how much damage was done, and he bolts forward, getting the kill there. Oh, the Lunar Flare is there, and the Owl. Is the rewind available from Arthlon? Doesn't look like it is, but the Polymorph. Oh, the bolt forward from KO. So many level 20 talents being used to try to get these kills, but it's actually going to be going in favor of Barrel Boys, getting that kill on Glowering. Tense moment right there.
It's gathering power stacks they wanted. They wanted him.
They did.
I mean, that's why he's doing like a huge amount of damage with that burst. The blink in, double bombs, rend and cleave, all that. It just adds up and just does a huge amount of damage right away. That's really the power of Zeratul there, that including with the Void Prison. Huge effectiveness in team fights.
Yeah. Just taking a look at the stats once again, 26,000 here from Uther on the heal charts. Tyrande still maxing out the damage, just below Vala actually in terms of the game total. And we can see the siege out of Nazeebo being quite ridiculous, but Tychus even more ridiculous. Tribute spawn, both teams 0-0 right now, and it's going to be a tense fight. Going for this boss now? Kind of a cheeky play. They can blow it up so quick at 21, I guess it's not that cheeky. They'll get it. They're going to be fine. SMG is being cautious. Glaurung just respawning.
They have some time before the character can gain up there. Yeah, it was the right call. And now they have actually a good position to even take this. Are they going to give this one up?
Yeah, I think SMG does. So they have to go defend the boss. They're going straight there for the boss right now.
Yeah.
The whole time, Dread has been in the bottom lane, just kind of maximizing the mobility of Brightwing, soaking up these waves. He's not getting too cheeky. He's being very cautious right now. And this boss should fall before it gets too much done.
Yeah, this won't be able to clean up the keep, especially when you have the 4 members defending it. But, I mean, it looks like Barrel Boys are trying to get a bit aggressive. SMG should be aware that this is happening. Yeah, we see that they're running on the other side of this once they saw the Watchtower change hands. Still, though, they might be able to get a little bit more push out of this, especially with Barrel Boys getting really aggressive.
Yeah, Howling Blast is going to be a cooldown. It was just used. We see the Owl going out doing a decent amount of damage, but this boss is going to be definitely a sign of, hey, we can push a little bit here. Look for that one dash in, but SMG playing very cautiously, staying near their keep. Yeah, it's taking a lot of damage.
Staying very split, making sure they're not going to get all caught by one of the Void Prisons. Everything is up, too, so they know that Barrel Boys is looking for that Void Prison dance combo. And they're appropriately staying separated.
Yep, very smart. Now picking up these Giants here, Mercs have all been cleaned up, and they're just going to rotate around and pick up their Giants as well. Next Tribute spawning in the top part of the map, but I think SMG is still going to opt to grab their Knights.
Yeah, so SMG made the right call last time, of course, to give up that Tribute. I don't know if either team is actually going to get too aggressive for it. Of course, it isn't one of the impactful Tributes here. No team is going to get the curse out of this, of course. So we do see SMG has decided to rotate up. They're going to show going into that Watchtower.
And yeah, it's going to be too late. Oh, the Owl actually stalling it just as I say that. Curse Sphere once again trying to cap it. Soldier will run in with that Howling Blast, disrupting it once again. And they're in position, but they have to stay spread, like you said, because that Void Prison Dance, not something they can afford to lose to again.
Just keep an eye on McIntyre's position as this team fight starts. He's going to try and loop around. So like right there would have been an amazing spot for him to catch a Void Prison had he been in position. We do see some aggression going on to Trummel.
And he's rotating on up. McIntyre looking for that Nazeebo player played by KO right now. And see, when they're clumped up like that, that's when you get scared. But they're only clumping up when they see where McIntyre is.
Yeah.
This shrine is SMG just backing up?
It looks like it. They do have some pressure from a Merc camp bottom. That is the Giants from Barrel Boys' side of the map. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think the rest of the team fights moving forward are going to look a lot like that. Each team is very well aware of what the strategy is going to be to try to counter the other person, and that's when you start to see the really cool, like, TT-type battles. They're just zoning each other out, getting their proper spacing, just waiting for someone to make a misstep, a misplay somewhere, and with teams such high caliber like this, sometimes these little dances go on for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just really intense the entire time, like, oh, is someone going to mess up? So I always love seeing that kind of thing.
Oh, me too. And right now, Barrel Boys are putting up an incredible fight. I mean, they're making SMG back up, play really cautiously, and SMG was scared to engage there. They realized they had to back up for those Merc camps and just pick up their Knights because it wasn't worth it. But in return, Barrel Boys now has a 2-3 shrine, and they're up 5-3 shrine or tributes in this game.
Yep. So if they do happen to catch this next team fight, that will guarantee them a curse. And whether they want to try to just safely take 2 keeps, they probably would be able to do that. They may even be able to end the game. So both teams have to be really, really careful. It's still possible for SMG to end this.
Okay.
On a team win.
Glaurung waiting for the hard read on Fan there, who didn't get too close. We've seen him pull people right there.
Yeah, that's a fun
The Howling Blast follow up, but no dice there. And with that's on cooldown, they're just going to back up.
Okay, you're going to see this posture here. We silently wait for the first play to be made.
McIntyre going on to Dread, not right quick. Just making sure they cannot cap that Fan. Again, just throwing some abilities out. Stalling out the cap, letting them get in position. SMG has to be so careful in these tight corners. If the Void Prison goes down and hits 3 members, it's like such a risky scenario. They're doing a good job keeping Arthlon, Dread, and Glaurung separated, as they are the 3 that have the stuns. So props to that, but it's still very scary. They have to be incredibly cautious. Keeping the vision on there with the Owl very good, and they're constantly trying to cap that. They're constantly just trying to push the situation. Dread gets close, but a lot of damage going down. Soldier wants to go in. The Starfall going down on Blinks. Blinks is getting very low. Is it going to be enough? It is going to be enough. One member goes down, Soldier very low. The Ravenous Spirit is going on free reign. The pull-in for the Primal Grasp, but the Divine Hurricane going out from the Ghost of Uther, and the Lunar Flare hits Trummel. He's getting very low here. Lunar Flare from the Rewind once again, but the Primal Grasp is missed. Uther clone falls, and Glaurung mounts up here, diving forward. Does he have the combo? Knockback, and they manage to pick up that kill.
Man, that was so much fun watching that team fight.
Yeah.
Just like the spacing that was going on. And like it's so scary. Like when Glaurung makes the decision, okay, I'm going to pull, stun, rewind, pull, stun. Like that's it. If you lose, that's 90-second cooldown on that rewind there. So he has to make sure that the situation is perfect.
Yep.
And it was in that case. But like he messes that up, they basically have to give that tribute up. They lose the curse. So it's like all on like they're just teetering on the edge as to like who's going to win that fight. And yeah, really well played by Glaurung to start that up on the right side. That was the trigger for everything to roll forward. You know, the Starfall, everything was nicely done to zone out. So props to SMG for being really patient there. I mean, both teams showed a lot of patience going into that team fight, but it was very close.
Yeah, and during all of this, I mean, SMG has taken a slight lead in experience. They're getting the vision here with the Owl. Hey, they're not at night, so that means they're probably taking their boss. It's going to be too late for SMG to react to that. Tribute is spawning on the top of the map, and Dread's just making sure he's the one defending. Now, Dread, of course, gets bribe stacks by doing that. How many stacks does he have? Well, he is 5 kills away from being able to bribe that entire giant pack, so it looks like that won't be happening prior to this Tribute fight. And do they give it up? They're giving it up, and they're SMG.
Going for it. They're diving in. Yeah, I was going to say it was really smart of them to make sure that they had the bottom keep pushed
That Owl's going to show their position. It stuns, installs out the Tribute a little bit, shows their position, forces it back. They're going to get the curse, but they're going to have to defend here. They're going to be a little bit late. That Owl wasn't enough to stall the curse out enough.
Can they do this?
I don't think so. I think they have to turn around. All they did was force the positioning on their curse, so they can't be too aggressive with it. But they can take a fight here. The dance goes down and gets interrupted instantaneously. The Revenant Spirit, as free range, Curse Fury is going to fall right quick. Army of the Dead is used. Soldiers going in. They pull in Fan, but he manages to pull on out. We see the Starfall going down here on both the core with the boss here fighting with it. Void Prism is used defensively, so Void Prism, Divine Storm goes down though. Also, Dreadnought very low. McIntyre gets polymorphed and eliminated. The Odin trying to kill Dread. Dread backing up, standing in the healing ward. I think SMG has done it.
Yes.
This last decision, the stalling out of that one Hedwig, hitting them on that Tribute. Wow.
They just, those last 3 fights, all like Ravenous Spirit getting full value. And just like the way that they were setting it up, you know, with Glaurung moving forward, getting those stuns right away. They dealt with the dance every time. Every time. So, yeah, props to SMG, even though the start of that game really just did not look well for them. They figured out what they needed to. They made some adjustments, and yeah, well played to them.
I think they were just constantly waiting to try to hit those 3 targets in the Void Prison.
Yeah.
And you notice the Void Prisons were like, they're being so specific with it, like just waiting and waiting and waiting. And SMG has always had those 3 apart.
Yeah.
And it completely shut down what they're trying to do, and they managed to crawl back in.
The times that they got blown up for it, that was the case. They had those people stuck in the dance. They had no one to interrupt, and they just smartened up. They just made that one adjustment to their play, and they happened to just take every team fight moving forward. So it makes a lot of sense. And I was a bit hesitant with the ETC. I think it turned out a little bit better than I was expecting, just based on their SMG's team comp.
Still not completely solid.
I still don't think it was the right call to grab ETC, especially after you see a Tyrande. And I think Brightwing hadn't been picked there, but Kerrigan was as well. So it just seems unnecessarily risky, but it almost worked.
It was a great game, though. SMG started out with a really dominant pre-10, and then once 10 was hit, it flipped sides, and we saw like some really strong fights out of Barrel Boys.
Yeah.
But that was game 1 of our best of 5 here.
Yep.
And I guess we're going to get ready for a quick commercial break. We're going to find out what our next map's going to be, so guys, stay with us. We'll be back in just a few. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Kings of Storm Weekly number 9. I'm joined by the Kubi
And
Solid Jake.
so excited.
Yo, what a first game!
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, a lot of cool comebacks there. We saw some weird strategies. Got
Yeah.
ETC, Zeratul, Void Prison, dance combos that I've never seen personally before.
Dance life,
Dance like
fancy feet.
Save the last dance, as Jake
fancy
likes
combo.
to put it.
Save the last dance.
Oh,
Well,
jeez, that'll never get old.
We'll see. Well, I guess not. I guess Game 2, we're going to Dragonshire, and the pick ban process is actually just about to begin.
It already has begun.
Oh my goodness.
So we do see a ban from Kerrigan coming
They say,
out.
okay, we ruined you with Kerrigan, so we're going to ban Kerrigan for you. Good
Yes,
guy, SMG.
very standard logic there.
Good guy, SMG.
Ruined. Oh, boy.
No, of course, McIntyre has a very strong Kerrigan as well, so they say, look, all right, we're not as worried. We don't want to play Kerrigan as much in this map for Dragonshire, but we want to make sure you don't have Kerrigan, and they follow up with the ban on Stitches with an instantaneous first pick from SNG on Tassadar, followed by Volaticus, about as cookie cutter as it gets.
Getting that 80% ban rate on Stitches. I think it's up to somewhere around there. That's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. Volaticus. Oh, no Tychus first pick.
No,
from SMG.
Tassadar. I mean, SMG always values Tassadar over
They
Tychus.
do. They have always gone for a lot of Tassadar. You're right about that. but
SMG likes the safe heroes, the heroes that have like that granted utility and like hard to kill, but like a lot of
Yeah.
effectiveness. Tassadar, really up there. Zeratul Arthas, their next two heroes. So again, SMG, the only team that's just consistently saying, look, if you're gonna let us have Arthas with Stitches banned, we're gonna take
Yeah.
it every time.
So they have Volaticus. Volaticus. Okay, so that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. It's probably the two heroes you can grab that have the most damage output in terms of their effect on a team fight. So I imagine that Barrel Boys is going to be looking at that situation saying, how can we either protect this, or how can we set up some kind of ridiculous stun to make sure that they get a lot of value out of it?
The other question is, when you have Volaticus, do you just get greedy and then grab Falstad and Tyrael or something? Like, do you say, hey, we're going to take the 3 ranged assassins, but at that point, you're probably giving up. Nazebo, it's hard to say. Ooh, they're hovering over Hammer. Oh, Hammer no longer being hovered over. Of course, Hammer very strong on this map.
Yes, I wouldn't be too surprised to see that. I think is it Arthlon that usually plays Hammer? There's not. I mean, of course, a lot of them probably could, but I want to say it's Arth that usually grabs Hammer. And we've seen Barrel Boys also play Hammer quite often on this map as well, so it wouldn't surprise me too much to see one of the teams grab that. There it is, Hammer Uther.
Hammer, Uther, okay. I mean, Hammer makes a lot of sense on this map. Uther being a big heal, I don't know if we'll see Brightwing. I mean, Brightwing's really strong, but I actually do like Mouth more on this map specifically. This is the one option, one time where on this map where I'd say Mouth makes a little bit more sense to me. But no, Dread says, no, Jake, you're wrong. We're going to be playing Brightwing and Nazebo, and with the Nazebo pickup, it's hard to say which is better, but Brightwing complements Nazebo very much for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm always looking at the situation like, who do we need to poly? And I mean, it's possible that it will make the difference, especially trying to deal with Odin, and trying to make sure that you either stun him out before he gets into Odin, or once he does, you can nullify some of that huge auto attack damage output that he has with the Poly Rewind. Poly once again. So who are they going to grab for their last pickup? I imagine a tank. We've seen them grab Tyrael in the past, especially when Nazebo is present. That's a possibility. I tried to make that call last game, though, and they just said, nah, we're going to grab ETC.
I don't know if ETC worked out the way they hoped for.
No.
And
I would guess it's
I
Tyrael.
almost think Murden, honestly.
I would agree with you if they had picked him at least once before today.
True,
They have not picked Murden once. So I'm just thinking like 90% chance they're going for Tyrael here, which is it's crazy to say considering how the game's been going these past like month or so. But
well, I mean, and there he is. There's your Tyrael. You're right. You win. Good game.
Good game. Yeah, I mean, just they've been favoring it so much over the course of the day here. So,
Dreadnought has put on his fancy crown with his pink skin. Princess Dread in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for a treat.
Princess Dread in the building. Oh my goodness.
And as we get ready for these final picks, looks like the team compositions have been determined here. We can look at it now. Tassadar, Zeratul, Protoss, Life with the Lich King himself, Mr. Bro, and of course Princess Dreadnought versus Tychus, Uther, Tyrael, Vala, and Hammer. Game number 2, 1-0 advantage to Symbiote Gaming.
Such nicknames. Oh, yeah. So we are going to Dragon Schreier for the 6th time today. It's very most popular map. Oh, wait, we've only been to 2 Cursed Hollow games, which is unusual.
1 Garden of Terror,
yep.
1 Sky Temple,
yep.
2 Cursed Hollow, and lots of dragon babies.
Yes, many Dargan babies.
Many Dargans haven't had. Koopas, who are these guys in the blue?
Yeah, who are these guys in the blue? Well, that's SMG, silly.
Oh.
We have Glaurung playing Zeratul. Arthlon's going to be on Tassadar. Dreadnought on Brightwing. KO's going to be playing Nazebo and Soldier on Arthas.
With the green money pig being the weird one. Just kind of giving Glaurung his welcoming once again. As he
there we go.
Teams
are figuring out which way to rotate.
Oh, Glaur wants none of that. On the opposite side of the map, we do have Curse Fury playing as Tyrael. We have McIntyre on Vala. And then in the bottom lane, it's going to be Trommel playing Tychus. Blinks is going to be on Lumberjack Uther. And Fan rocking the very vanilla Hammer. That's about as vanilla as it gets.
We have a talent to talk about.
Uh-oh.
Protection in death. When Archangel's Wrath explodes, shield nearby allies 50% of their max health for 5 seconds.
Kamikaze Tyrael confirmed.
Yeah.
That's
what you don't see that, right?
That's a thing.
Usually Tyraels are grabbing the extra damage to heroics or heroes upon using smite. So and that's a good chunk of Tyrael's damage is cast through smite and the cooldown reduction that they sometimes will grab at level 4 as well. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. It could make could really change fights. I mean, we don't know. It's not really something I don't know if I've ever seen it in a competitive game.
I have never seen it grabbed.
I want to know if it's a misclick, but I think misclicking at level 1 is pretty darn.
Could happen. We've seen some stranger misclicks, and we were like always trying to read into it, like, oh, maybe they want to do this and this, and then we find out like an hour after the show, it's like, nah, we just misclicked. Oh, okay. All right, nice.
But, Glaurung, Arthlon, and Dread putting the aggression on this bottom lane, just constantly having that rotation going back, top, mid, or mid, bottom. Dread just kind of using his pixie dust and backing up there. He actually lied to us, didn't grab Princess Dreadnought. He doesn't even own Princess Dreadnought skin, so he's vanilla Brightwing, and I'm actually
You got juked on so many levels there.
He's still Princess Dreadnought in my heart.
So, yeah, I'm curious to see how aggressive they're going to be this game. Of course, they had that huge potential with the Tyrande Kerrigan last game. No Kerrigan, obviously. She was banned out. But we still have potential for Arthas Zeratul to be rotating around.
And that's what we're seeing right here. A lot of dips going down the Curse Fairy, but you can use Eldrarune's Might to get out of that situation.
Yep.
Having these 3 in the bottom lane, they're controlling this shrine pretty darn well. But the middle lane getting some aggression here put onto McIntyre.
Yes, and we do have, of course, level 4, so we can talk about some of those talents that they grabbed. Gathering Power for Zeratul looks to be the pretty standard Zeratul build. We'll probably grab that Rending Cleave at level 7. We have Healing Ward out of Tassadar, pretty standard. Actually, we didn't even get a chance to talk about Conjurer's Pursuit at level 1. opted to not go for the mana regen
It's
or
interesting.
the extra range.
I mean, I kind of like that. We've seen a few testers do that. And it's like, okay, if I'm going to be grabbing the mana on return on Psystorm, why don't I just get more mana retention in general? And you know, of course, that's what Conjurer Pursuit does. So
Right.
I like the pick up there. Art's taking a lot of damage, but he's just going to dimensional shift right on out of there and make sure he's safe. McIntyre just throwing down that multi-shot, going for the multi-shot build this game. Amp healing on material, make sure he can sustain, even though
that burst health.
Even though level 1's designed around dying, he wants to stay alive.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, likely when he dives in, more often than not, especially when they don't have Rhaegar to get that ancestral healing off, he's going to die. But, I mean, if he can help the rest of his team clean up that 4v4 that should happen, in theory, then maybe that will be what will turn the fight. We're going to have
Healing ward
attention.
here with the shield from Arthlon, going to get KO out of that situation. Looked pretty dire, and we got the double Hearth coming out, so this is going to be stress on Arthas Soldier to hold this top lane so that no Dragonite can be picked up. Bottom lane will be bullied pretty hard as Hammer's going to siege up right here and do what he can, and this is going to be a tower falling. How low is that tower? Very low.
Yeah, so both teams are making sure that they keep control of the tower that they have control of, and making sure, and we're seeing very few team fights. There's 0 kills, very passive game going forward so far. And this will probably be remaining the case unless we see a pickup on Curse Fury here.
Oh,
not
very
the case
low,
here.
very low, but that's going to be a tower for them. Curse Fury has to tap well, and they're just going to keep the aggression on the top lane. We even see Dread rotated actually back into the bottom. Looks like he has to fill up his mana, and they're going to try to recap this bottom shrine.
Yeah, I would guess we're probably not actually going to see a dragon taken before level 10. Are they going to make me look awful right now?
Nah, I don't think Blinks will let that happen. Bottom lane is being picked up here once again by Barrel Boys. So the passing of the shrine, if you will.
Yeah, I think both teams they're going to be not feeling comfortable enough to make a hard rotation onto somebody until they have those heroics up. And that's what it's going to take for one team to take both of the shrines and subsequently cap the Dragonite. So I would guess that it's going to be fairly passive here. Yeah, we just see that both teams are kind of poking at each other. No one's really committing super hard to get that kill.
Yeah, it's very hard to kill both Hammer and Tychus. Those are like those priority targets you want to kill. But they both have first aid now, so it's going to be a little bit harder for Glowering to get in there. Now, of course, as he scales throughout the game, his burst gets a little bit more powerful, especially if he has Gathering Power stacks. He gets a bit more scary, and he does, in fact, have Gathering Power. So that's something he'll be looking to do in the late game. But as it stands...
Yep. We've got a couple talents we can actually talk about. And I just
As
pulled it down. Some of the ones that are jumping at him. We do have Cleanse on Brightwing. It's probably going to point towards a Blink Heal type build. I would really not want to see Emerald Wind.
It's interesting to see Cleanse picked up considering how
There it
little
is.
stun they
Okay.
have on their team. They have Disruption, but like it's really just Uther that has stun.
It's true.
Can you Cleanse Judgment? I really don't think you can.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can cleanse a hook. It's possible. He might still dash in, but you don't actually stun him.
Yeah, maybe.
That might actually be pretty good pickup for Nazebo now that I think about it. But I would have preferred to see if you're gonna commit to the cleanse, why not take Emerald Wind? I mean, Blink Heal, just to make sure you get that sustain, especially because you don't have that second support. I realize Tassadar is a support, but it just has the shield and healing ward.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Emerald Wind though is when they do Judgment in, Brightwing did actually get blown up in the bottom lane. We actually happened to miss that. He died right there. But when you Emerald Wind after a Judgment, you can completely disrupt that kind of initiation too. So it's tough because we should be seeing, Uther running in and Divine Storming as the Judgment's going off. So it's going to be hard to get that Emerald Wind off.
Yeah. But we have not seen a particularly strong engagement yet. We do have Brightwing is the only one who's died so far, and I saw that Vala's Reign of Vengeance has been off cooldown, so I'm guessing that was involved in that. So we can see that she is bottom lane. So.
Well, this top lane is going to be a 2v3 here. Soldier going into the top. He might have to pop armor, but no, there's no aggression on him. They're going for Glaurung instead. Judgment is used, but Vortex Prism will be used reactively. Shrine will be taken in turn. We can look at the middle of the map. There's just a bit of an engagement here, some fancy feet happening. And, that's a 1-for-1 in terms of heroics. So neither team really won.
I would still give the edge to Barrel Boys there just because of the shorter cooldown, but we do have Brightwing rotating up.
Yeah, the Envenom goes down. Divine Storm is used defensively to try to get Blinks on out, but is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like it. Ghost Uther is going to be an annoyance, but Glaurung's just going to run, get on back, tap that well, soak this lane, but right now they're not in the middle lane at all, and in the bottom lane, there's some push here available for Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer is just making sure that they keep control of that bottom shrine, but as we see SMG rotating around, this becomes increasingly more of a scary location to be in, and we can see that she does back up. This gives KO a good opportunity to grab that shrine.
Curse Fury. He's in a pretty safe spot because he's near his tower, but even still, they could have gone for something really cheeky there if they wanted to.
Yeah, still making sure that they keep control of that bottom shrine as Barrel Boys here. They are sort of on the back foot, I would say.
I mean, yeah, they're down a talent right now. They need to make sure they hit level 13 before they have the even talents. We see Rewind throws the double polymorph, the sprint on the Zebo. Oh, but the Judgment goes in with the Rain of Vengeance being used as well. Polymorph goes off right quick to get Dreadnought out of there, and he's going to be just fine. The Wormhole is used for Zirtle to back on up, and many members of Barrel Boys are quite low at this point in time.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, I realize, Tyrael does have... Does he have battle? Yes, he does have battle momentum, so he will be able to get that Judgment back up, I'm sure, before the next team fight, unless they're actually getting aggressive. I'm not really sure this is the right call here. Especially they don't have a really good way to deal with the... Revenant Spirit is off cooldown. Okay,
yeah,
catch
okay.
that.
Soldier backing up. Those Giants do leash, and we see the aggression going here. Curse Fury, of course, can outdo Smite to get out of any situation going up or down. And Blink's looking for that big Divine Storm right now. Void Prism goes down as well. There's a lot of aggression here for SMG. They want to get some of Curse Fury. Outdo Smite down to the bottom lane. 4 members in the bottom lane, zoning them out pretty hard. The damage, once again, looking very far in favor of SMG. But all the heroics are pretty much on cooldown when they still have Divine Storm available on the side of Barrel Boys. Divine Storm could be a huge playmaker right now. Still looking for it.
Oh, there it is.
McIntyre is so low, but the Divine Storm does go off. Like I said, Soldier's going to end up falling as a result. Emerald Wind using to disengage that. So 1-for-1 in that fight. A very passive fight, but it looks like Curse Fury is going to be continuing his aggression as he gets the heals from Uther. But man, they're also low. That Divine Storm forces the Odin out. The cast aside goes there in Arthalon. Arthalon is going to be in a very tough spot to try to get out of this. They managed to pick up the kill on the Hammer player, and with Dreadnought back into the fray here, he has no mana still, but he's still got that pulse heal.
Yeah, it was okay for Barrel Boys. They did make that trade pretty early on, but I'm not really sure I agree with that judgment that happened later on. I mean, you weren't aware of what the positioning of the rest of SMG was. They knew that his Dimensional Shift, was available, so they weren't going to get the kill immediately. They would have had to chase pretty far, and that's what ended up having Sergeant Hammer get killed off there. I think the dive was a bit unnecessary. I realized that they took the risk to try and make a comeback, but gonna have to choose a better spot, I guess, next time. I just think that was probably a bit of a waste.
Well, it looks like Barrel Boys is going to be trying to pick up these Knights here. SMG might catch wind of this and try to respond, but they're busy taking their Knights as it is. Do they all rotate down? They're thinking about it, and yeah, that looks like to be the case. Giants picked up there for Barrel Boys. The Knights still low, but still these two have a lot of health. It's going to take them a bit longer as Uther and Tyrael don't necessarily hit all that hard.
It takes a little bit of time, and
they've got to know this is happening.
I would think so. They know now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they make a rotation? No, they don't. They would have had to aggressively have rotated around the top side. So
build's pretty standard stuff here. Nothing weird happening. Just that level 1 talent material being a bit odd.
Yeah, that one. We haven't really seen that come into play too much yet. Actually, I don't think Tyrael has died so far. No, he has not. So haven't seen the effectiveness of that talent just yet. And we do have level 16 for SMG. We do have the double bombs. It looks as though Tassadar has gone a full Dimensional Shift build, getting that prescience, and the Dimensional Warp there, getting the extra health and speed whenever he casts E. Critterize, Specialized Toxin, and Stone Skin, all pretty standard picks for those heroes.
Well, we can see they cleaned up the top lane. Barrel Boys managed to cap that top shrine to prevent the Dragon Knight for the time being. Glaurung's making his way up to cap it for himself. With that being capped, the rotation there is in the bottom. Fan sitting there on that bottom shrine. SMG is well aware of this and making that rotation out, but again, Glaurung's not available for this. It's 4v5 in favor of Barrel Boys in the bottom lane right now.
It's true, but they are still a little bit hesitant. They are down that tier, which, I mean, that's a big power spike for a lot of heroes, especially when you consider things like Critterize that can really blow somebody up super fast, so you have to be careful with that.
Now this is actually really risky. They know that they're in a bad spot, and they're immediately rotating on out. Dreadnought gets stunned. They're looking for that Divine Storm. The Void Prism is used, wasting Rain of Vengeance. Nicely done there. Emerald Wind needs to go off immediately, but I feel like Divine Storm will hit it first. Yes, Dreadnought's going to end up falling there. As I wiggle my arm and shake the cam with everything, Dread gets blown up. A nice rotation, a nice just map awareness by Barrel Boys, and now SMG is on the delay game.
Yeah, that seemed to be a bit greedy, I will say. I mean, I can understand Glaurung being up there just to check on the rotation and just to see if they were capping that. It's like, oh, there's nobody here, but Zing in with Brightwing was the issue. I think that he probably should have walked up there if that was possible to get up there in time, and then have the Z to get out, or something to that effect. But just Zing in there, you leave yourself very little recourse to get out of that situation.
And I think where they must have caught the phase shift happening out of Brightwing or something, because they knew what was happening. They just reacted on the fly. It was really well done. This bottom 4 gonna be falling here in favor of Barrel Boys. And SMG has done a good job, you know, just keeping the delay game going on. Dreadnought has respawned. And they kind of recuperate now. They still have a level advantage at this point, though.
Yep, but the tiers for talents are about the same. The soldier is going in.
Yeah, Curse Fury taking a lot of damage. He uses that cat side, but here comes the Ravenous Spirit. It's completely safe, but the grenade! And as I say, it's safe. He goes in, but Trumbull doesn't pay with his life. He's forced to pop Odin. We see Glaurung taking a lot of damage in the backside. Trumbull doesn't falling, but Glaurung falls as well. 1 for 1 at this point in time, and the teams are on the opposite sides they want to be on, kind of cornering Barrel Boys if they can. Now, Fan is in the bottom side of this, throws those mines down to try to zone. Curse Fury's coming up. 4v3 it looks like at the time being, and where is the...
God, it's such a weird fight.
Brightwing just in the back. He managed to cap that Shrine while waiting. Emerald win,
my
forced him into
God!
a terrible position. Divine Storm not going to be enough to save him there. Blinks, and Curious Fairy live for a little while. The shielding comes out from his death. Is it going to be enough? Well, look at that's a lot of shielding, but I don't know that it matters. Fan doing what he can to take out a KO, but the polymorph is going to be enough.
God, that was such a weird fight.
That shield talent is cool, but...
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't enough to save the Hammer player there. I actually think the big story in that fight was they got the Ravenous Spirit off, and the only thing that they had available to deal with it was Tychus to run up with the grenade. So he runs up there, throws the grenade. He does successfully hit it, but he lost almost all of his HP in the process.
Had to pop
and
Odin,
then he pops Odin, and then loses almost all of the HP on Odin, like within a couple seconds. So
you're right.
You basically have traded out, although it didn't directly kill him, you've traded out one heroic for a heroic, and then that person is almost completely useless in that fight because he has so little HP.
They're so close to being dead.
And that was the big thing that really turned that fight. And then like the positioning got really messed up, and SMG was slowly pushing Barrel Boys back towards their keep. And I mean, they just ended up with a huge leg up in that fight. And they are up to 1.5 levels right now, and the Dragon Knight, so they're going to be able to get some serious push out. They're going to clean up the rest of these forts, and they're in a good position to move forward to level 20.
Yeah, every single lane is kind of in their advantage right now. I mean, cleaning up that middle fort, cleaning up this bottom fort right now. Top fort's already gone. They can push on into the Dragon Knight to this bottom keep. They're going to get the towers easy peasy. They're going to try to get more.
And when you consider each swing is taking like 15–20% of those towers, that hurts.
Yeah, and SMG has taken a pretty large experience lead towards their quest to 20, and that's no good for Barrel Boys.
I mean, yeah, 20 for SMG, that's what we're looking at. I mean, if they want to go with the upgraded Ravenous, they can take that. They can get the extra damage output from Archon. That's really probably going to be the scariest one. Yeah, more sustain out of Arthas. Obviously they want to avoid that situation if they can. They really just need to try to play passively, make sure that they're soaking properly to try to catch up in experience. But the SMG's for sure going to get there before them.
SMG looks like they're kind of aware that this might be the option that they go for, but they're just taking the safe play, grabbing their Giants, grabbing these Knights in the top lane, and then getting the extra soak in both middle, and I'm sure they'll soak top after this. Bottom Knights being picked up here is nice.
Are they going to get aggressive for their bruisers? They're up in 10 seconds. Or are they just going to try to defend and rotate onto this? Yeah, I think they're going to do that.
And getting into position here, we can see KO.
Ooh, I do not like this. The Void Prison is going to be so serious if they don't deal with it. They got to separate.
I'm worried. It's tense. Fan takes a lot of damage immediately. He's forced to pop pretty much his ability to. Storm Shield goes off. That level 20 advantage is proving to be already just a slight advantage. That Void Prism not doing as much as you think, but Fan is getting so low. First aid trying to keep him alive. We see that Glaurung Zeratul is the first one to fall. Rain of Vengeance hitting a lot of people right there. Fan's going to end up with the Emerald Wind pushing them in. Actually didn't get continuous wins there. Opted for Storm Shield instead. And that Ravenous Spirit. McIntyre, are you going to fall? The poison?
The shield from Tyrael?
Oh,
nope. That was it. Man, the Emerald Winds that Dreadnought is getting are just disgusting. He's pushing people into walls. I almost never see Brightwings given the chance to use the situation. It looks like Arthlon is going to chase really hard. And he, at least forces the Odin. That's still a huge win.
It's still a huge win, and they can still follow up with this. I mean, we can see that Curse Fury is going to be trying to. I mean, where's the Storm come out? The Raw Storm?
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, wow.
Yep, he's got him.
Very good reactions there from Arthlon.
And Curse Fury is going to be greeted by a Brightwing with Polymorph.
He can shield his minions there. He chooses not to.
One thing I want to say though is if Dread, I mean, Storm Shield worked out for them. He used it reactionarily to try to save Glaurung.
Yeah.
But if he had continuous wins,
they
would have all died. They would have all died.
Destroyed them. But it's so hard to know that another situation like that's going to pop up. I think he probably over the course of time will get more value out of that Storm Shield.
It's not like it's a bad call. It's just continuous wins just would have ruined their life.
It's something that's more like a 50-50 in personal preference as to what the Brightwings grab. So we do have a Dragonite available. Both shrines have been capped for SMG, and Glaurung is stepping up to the plate, changing his mind. Oh, changing his mind again. He's got it. Okay.
Arth is actually fighting these Knights now. They can see that these Knights are still on the map, and they know that it's happening, but the Dragonite is going to be here to zone on out. KO helping Arthlon do that. And Glaurung's literally using the Dragonite just to zone. He's just saying, look, these Knights are ours. Once we have them, we're going to push with them. I don't know if they want to go on the Bridge of Death, being the top lane here. KO's just going to kind of open the gates here for the Knights, and yeah, they're just kind of pacing around trying to figure out where they want to initiate.
I didn't catch that at first as to why Glaurung stuttered when he was trying to grab that Dragonite. It was just to allow time for KO to grab that Knight camp, which of course you can't grab any camps while the Dragonite is active, but if you started hitting them, they will remain. So it gives them a little bit of extra split push power here, and they are focusing all of their attention on this mid keep.
Yeah, so the Dragonite has another 40 seconds remaining here. A lot of health. They're doing what they can to focus it down, but this keep is taking a lot of damage. Soldier in the front line getting knocked back by all those Bullhead mines. Judgment goes down as well. We see the Storm Shield coming out from Brightwing. Rain Avenge is doing a decent amount of work. There's the offensive Storm Shield on the other side. Level 20 has been attained just barely, and they use it almost instantaneously. The keep does fall, but the Dragonite's pressure continues. 15 seconds remaining on it, and SMG looks like they want to back on out.
I'm not sure I agree with the judgment onto Arthas.
I think.
I mean, like, of all the targets that you're going to try and eliminate, Arthas is probably the last one you're going to get. I'm not really sure why they felt he was a priority threat there to dive in. He was a little bit closer for the rest of his team to follow up on, but as you saw, and as you can see, Soldier is pretty healthy right now. Yeah. And he actually didn't end up taking much damage in that scuffle regardless. So I think that was probably the wrong call, and it's why they had to back up and ended up taking, losing that keep there. And SMG is still in a great spot there, just taking a lot of map presence right now, taking those camps, and just pushing out.
Yeah, just about a 2-level lead almost here for SMG.
Yep.
No talent advantages at this point as level 20 has been achieved, but 12 kills to 7 is the name of the story. If we can look at the stats right quick as I tab. Brightwing leading the charge in the heals here. Nazebo topping the damage, actually just under Sergeant Hammer. And, this bottom night camp, SMG is just said, like, look, this is an unnecessary risk. They've actually neglected it the entire game. They keep just letting Barrel Boys grab it.
I mean, that said, the Bruisers are absolutely the least impactful of the two camps to grab. If you can back up the Giants as they push forward, they have a lot more firepower in terms of sieging out. I should call them siege Giants. But these Knights, Bruisers, whatever you want to call them, they're good at soaking damage, but they don't typically push too far on their own unless structures are out of ammo, etc. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And we do see Barrel Boys is posturing a little bit here in the bottom lane. They want to try and force a fight here. I'm not really sure why, to be honest. They don't have a particular advantage, and they're going to be fighting underneath enemy forts and structures here. So seems a little bit unwarranted in terms of the risk needed here. They have a four-person.
Goodness! This is not good. Soldiers wrapping around the other side. The Ravenous Spirit is there. We see Hammer going back, and then the Judgment as well, taking him out. But Curse Fury is taking so much damage as a result. The Radiance is there to try to heal him up, but it's not going to be quite enough. Soldier getting all the healing off from his army. The healing word goes down. So much sustain available. Trummel is losing the Odin. No health underneath. We can see that Uther has fallen as well. Ghost Life has been acquired. Dreadnought with that Emerald Wind. Is it enough to get something done? Glaurung going on to Fan.
Yeah.
Fan's going to lose his life, and Arthlon doesn't want to let them get out of here, but the Bolt of the Storm is used by Trummel.
Chasing. That might mean that he has EF cooldown. He might be able to chase in.
He might, and he's doing just that. But he's taking a lot of damage. As a result, Knights pushing in the top lane. Like I said, they soak up a lot of damage, but the Singularity Spec is going to be enough to blow him up. Trumbull loses his life. McIntyre, the only one alive in SMG. The bells are ringing. The Dragonite is spawning.
Ding,
and
ding.
they are going to be walking right across the map.
That's going to do it. That was actually really nicely played from Glaurung there. A bunch of burst damage up. And so that's exactly what Arthlon was doing there. He was just trying to stall long enough, make sure they didn't get on their mounts.
Protoss buddies.
Yep.
Protoss buddies.
Protoss bros for life.
And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. 4 members still down. McIntyre can't defend a Dragonite and 4 members of SMG with it. And that's going to be 2-0 advantage in the Specified series. That was a good... I mean, Barrel Boys, they're playing well.
They are playing well.
They're playing very well.
They are bringing the heat to SMG. I mean, the score doesn't reflect that, but they're playing pretty solid.
I mean, both games have been close, and they're going toe-to-toe. 22-minute game on Dragonshire.
Yeah.
SMGs can beat people in 8 minutes on that map.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was, even though they didn't take out a keep, they still were taking team fights really well, even while down.
Yeah, they were keeping it very competitive the whole time. So, but that said, we're only on match point here for SMG. There is still a very strong chance for Barrel Boys to make a comeback here. So we'll have to wait and see as we jump into game number 3. But before that, got to go to a quick commercial break before we find out what the map is.
Well, guys, welcome back here to Kingstorm Weekly number 9. We're here in the grand finals, and I'm joined by the Kubi.
Yes, and I'm also joined by the solid Jack Egg.
Yeah. The Jack Egg.
Right.
Guys, 2-0 advantage here in this
Yes.
grand final series of a best of 5 up for SMG right now.
Yes, it is match point. If they take this next game, they will be the victors of this tournament, the
Yeah.
kings of the storm, as you might say. Once again, they are last week's champion. Here back defending the title. We have a new challenger this week, Barrel Boys.
Barrel Boys?
They're taking out some real tough teams on the way here.
They're playing
Vortex. They beat
so
Morlock Sync. So yeah, they're really having quite the tournament this week. This will get them quite a few points. I imagine they will probably be easily seeded into the Kings Monthly next
with
week.
This kind
so
of showing,
yeah.
you're going to get a lot of points for
So-
this for the monthly next month. But we're going to Sky Temple.
Sky Temple.
Temple in the sky.
This was, of course, Barrel Boys' choice to go here. And I'm trying to remember that, last game that they took Vortex there once. They didn't win the game. So they had Stitches. They chose Hammer on this map. That was the weird thing that they ended up doing. And oh, that's right. It was a huge comeback.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. It was a huge
yeah.
comeback. So actually, I really did enjoy their play. They had a very strong rotation on the map. They had a very good
This was
grasp
yeah.
of how the temples worked and how they should approach them. I actually liked how they approached the match. It's just the end of the game slipped out of their control. Vortex made a crazy comeback. So I'm perfectly okay with them going here now that I remember back to that game and how it went. So I'll have to see what kind of strategy they bring. Do they go back to Hammer? Do they pick it again? Yeah, they went with the Stitches because he wasn't banned out. Stitches, Nazebo. Oh, that's right. They went double tank with the Rhaegar heals. Yeah, okay, it's all coming back.
That was actually a really cool game.
Yeah.
And it was very enjoyable to watch. But
And we see Fan has hovered over the Hammer.
I want to see it. I want to see it. Well, we can see we have Stitches and Tychus as our band, so nothing weird there. Tassadar is going to be the first pick up here. First pick goes to Barrel Boys, and they immediately respond with Arthas Kerrigan. Not even a shred of thought. They just say, look.
Yeah,
It's so
they
powerful.
value that so high that it doesn't even matter
Yeah.
what they grab first. They're just if you're going to let us take Arthas Kerrigan, we're grabbing it. So
Yeah, so that's, just immediately that's the SMG style, the roaming ganking potential, and just that pair in general. As you walk into one of those temples on this map, it's terrifying to be greeted by that. It's just,
right.
hey, look,
of course,
Primal Grasp,
there's
it's done.
there's tons of bushes to hide
Yeah.
in and a lot of places to rotate. We saw, Kerrigan has pulled so many ridiculous team fights. You catch 2 or 3 people out of positions. No good. You're going to take a lot of damage there. So absolutely understandable. It is just an absolutely terrifying roaming combo,
Yes.
especially with that double and Venom. But I really want to know, are they going to go for that double front line? They could do it with well, they don't have Arthas available now. I don't know. I think that kind of puts a wrench in their plans.
Yeah.
If they were thinking about going for that.
I
That
mean-
said, their overall game plan and their strategy on the map looked good. I don't think it was necessarily revolving around having that double tank. A cool idea for this. I mean, we also have to keep in mind Mule as well. They did pick up Tassadar. That is one Mule available to them if they so choose it. That is giving up a lot of damage though on the Psystorm crits. That's what talent is usually grabbed in that talent tier.
But
So.
it's in no way bad. I mean, Tassadar in general is great on this map, and I think is a great first pick. You have that vision, you have the sustainability, healing ward. I mean, if that's how you want to build him, I think that's how we'll see him built. It doesn't mean that we can't see the double front line, because Tassadar works pretty well into a double front line kind of style, because you have double support, double front line. We saw that at SMG last week. They went Tassadar to Ronda, Uther, I think Vala Arthas. It was such a weird, crazy comp, but that was on this map. So outlive, outlast in the kind of big battles there at the temples can be really strong. Uther Nazebo.
Uther Nazebo. So, I mean, of course, anytime you see someone grab Nazebo, how are they planning on protecting it? We can see Arthlon is immediately ready up on Tyrande. So they are right there. They got the Vala.
Yes.
They have the Tyrande. They have the Kerrigan. So there's that super scary. Actually, now they have 3 people that they can roam with, which they probably won't roam with all 3 at once, but they can swap in and out. They can choose. I mean, Kerrigan will probably always be there, but Kerrigan, all Kerrigan has to do is rotate to the lane that Tyrande's in, and Tyrande follows up, goes for ganks, can go back up to the top lane where Arthas is and get ganks up there. There's just less movement needed from SMG to get scary pulls. So.
And that Vala, that's a pretty late pick on Vala.
It is the latest pick we've seen on Vala, actually. Broke the trend. No, actually, the first game broke the trend here from SMG. But still, you're right. It is a very late pickup on the Vala.
Now,
Still a ton of damage. They need to pick up a healer. Oh, no, they have Tyrande. It depends on what they want to do. I imagine they'll still pick up another healer, though.
So both teams going for the Outlive Outlast. We already talked about this earlier. We talked about that SMG last week. Tassadar Uther on one side, and we're going to see probably Mouth paired here with Tyrande. Brightwing, obviously, highly valued hero.
Yeah.
It's definitely... It wouldn't be Rhaegar, like, for sure, at this point in time, based on what we've seen. Unless they've been trying something new, I don't think we'd see Rhaegar here. But it's off to a good, pretty scary start for both teams. I mean, they both have a lot of potential depending on how they round out their drafts.
So, I mean, do they try Tyrael again?
It's tough.
Do you think they just needed some slight tweaks to their team comp or their approach to make that work, or do you think it's something they should abandon and just go for something else entirely?
I feel like if they go Tyrael Falstad or anything like that, we're going to see SMG pick up like a second tank. We're going to see like Muradin Mouth or something weird. Thrall in Tyrael. All right. Sundering can be so strong on this map in general. Even if you don't have a priority target you want to disrupt, this might force... Valaz on SMG. For whatever reason, I forgot that. Might force Rain of Vengeance to be picked up and not Strafe, because how easily you can disrupt that. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna get Rain of Vengeance over Strafe. I think this actually makes Brightwing the better choice now that Thrall's been picked up.
Yeah, why is that?
Just Poly is such a strong way to shut down Thrall's aggression.
Okay.
It's good against Judgment as well. Rewind Poly, the amount of value with that. Cleanse still going to be a super high priority thing, so we could still see Cleanse Emerald win.
Yeah.
But if there's Brightwing, especially Tyrande as well. It makes a lot of sense. All right, well, those are our compositions. These are going to be our two teams. The third game here of the Grand Finals, match point
for SMG. That is correct.
Can the boys in the barrels bring it back?
We will have to see here on our first game of the Grand Finals that's on Sky Temple. Second game of the day on Sky Temple.
Yeah.
Always fun to see.
That we've seen cast at least.
Yeah, that was a really great game, though. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
People have been questioning the entertainment value of Sky Temple. Is it
it's there.
Is it a balanced map? Is it? And so far, looks good. We're going to hop right into this Sky Temple. You boys ready? Let's do this.
The countdown has begun. The game is commencing. The loading screen is upon us, and here it is, Sky Temple for the third game of the Grand Finals of Kings of the Storm Weekly number 9.
Jake has immediately jumped into 1960s horse race announcer man.
It's actually fully inspired by Legend of Korra. If you've ever watched pro bending, you'd know what I'm talking about here. But that's not what we're watching. We're watching some video games, some esports, some Heroes of the Storm action. Kubi is so embarrassed right now.
Just staring at you, just like maybe he'll round this up into a point that's relevant. No.
Nope. Just thinking about
no
Korra.
way. All right. Let's talk about that blue team, that Symbiote Gaming. We have Glaurung on Kerrigan. Arthlon's going to be playing Tyrande, Dreadnought on Brightwing. KO is going to be playing Vala, and Soldier on Arthas.
And on the other side of the map, we are seeing a Thrall here, and that is going to be played by Trummel. They're making this hard. McIntyre making this hard on me. Tassadar will be played by Trummel. Curse Fury is going to be on Tyrael. Balinx is going to be on Uther, and Fan will be playing as Nazebo. That just big plop pile that is known as Barrel Boys, and that is a Master Skin getting smacked in a package delivered by Hedwig.
Gosh, they just ruined that statue.
Yeah, I mean, who needs statues?
There's actually a lot of little Easter eggs in this map. Some places that you can destroy things. That little barrel thing that you can... Someone's messing with it right now. Hey, there's a little Clairvoyance logo on it. That's cute. Oh, the well.
And you know what happens? You know what happens here? Nothing's happening.
Whoa!
This guy climbs out. Nothing. We're not missing anything. I'm watching the minimap. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Poor Indiana Jones.
He hops on his... That's Harrison Jones, excuse me. And that's the Spider Queen. That's the next map we're going to see added to the game. The Temple of the Spider Queen, I forget what it's called, it actually exists below Sky Temple.
Yep.
And that was actually the Spider Queen trying to grab Harrison Jones or whoever that guy was.
Had to have been Harrison Jones, right?
Makes sense to me.
Perhaps. All right, enough shenanigans. Let's talk about some of these builds.
Oh, well, Glaurung going in as soon as the action is ready to happen.
Wow.
He makes it happen. The lockdown is there. I mean, just...
There it is, the triple gank squad that we were talking about.
Yeah,
Said, nah, we're gonna go all 3 of us. We'll guarantee kills. Even a Tassadar that has, you know, the E to get out of things. It's like, nah, you don't even have time to use that. Just chain stun. GG. All right, so let's take a look at some of these. We do have a bribe on Brightwing, Pierce out of Tronda, and they're going for it again.
Oh,
are they gonna get it?
The Hunter's
there it
Mark
is. Oh my god!
So much damage. Hunter's Mark, of course, gives an
Disgusting.
additional 25% damage. The soldier is going to pay with his life for this, so it ends up being an even trade, if you will. Actually, almost an unfavorable trade, as they did have the underdog advantage at that point. But still, a slight level lead here for SMG.
Yep. Okay, we have once again protection and death. Material that was not a misclick.
It was not a misclick, confirmed. Or he's really consistent.
Consistently misclicking.
No, this top shrine being contested here by Barrel Boys, but as they see, it's a 3v2. They're going to back right on up. Of course, the middle temple is being controlled by Barrel Boys, so it's even in that regard.
I'm not sure. So Blinks is just trying to keep some vision here, just waiting to see when they rotate down. Maybe he's expecting to be able to take a 1v1 fight on top of that shrine, and he's just waiting for the rest of the team to rotate down. I'm not really quite sure what the... I mean, he's getting some soak out of the lane. That's fine too, but usually there's a bit more priority from the teams in terms of taking these shrines because of how much damage they do. I mean, you can see it takes down that wall, gives the teams a good experience lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5-5 right now. Again, slight advantage lead, but as they pick up these giants, it's a really nice early pickup on a Mark camp. We can see pretty just even across the board. Scrolling slowly down in the middle lane here, you can see these, it's just kind of both teams soaking, poking, prodding, going around the map. Brightwing does have 36, almost ready for the first, bribe usage of the game, but those giants won't be available as they're being picked up already here by Glaurung and Arthon. We saw this on Cursed Hollow, just these two roaming around a lot together.
Yes, yeah, and it's pretty strong on its own. So let's talk about some of these talents coming up here. We do have a lot of Envenoms across the board for Thrall. Arthas and Kerrigan, of course, that makes that ganking combo even scarier. Let's see, anything else of interest here? I guess we can talk a little bit about Thrall's build. What are you expecting to see here? We got the reduced cooldown on Wind Furies. Do you think it's just gonna be the typical Wind Fury build, or?
I mean, there could be some deviations, but it's pretty unlikely because it's pretty much tried and true as the most effective damage output.
Double mule.
And yeah, that's actually a big thing to point out. That the last time SMG faced double mule was against Cloud9 Maelstrom, and that was one heck of a game.
Yes.
And mule being used almost instantaneously. One there and one in the top lane. Very, very strong play. We have the single mule coming out of Tyrande as well.
Yep.
So we're seeing some mule play. Cleanse here from Brightwing, and again, looking at Thrall, I mean, so far, Wind Shear, Envenom, and Battle Momentum, the standard way to play.
Yeah, so those two heroes, Tyrande and Tassadar, both giving up some of their DPS. We had mentioned Tassadar giving up the crits on Psystorm targets, and that is Battle Momentum, so less frequent will we see those Starfalls coming out of Tyrande there. The Zebo gives up Gidbin, which is a little bit of damage on the Heroic there, the Ravenous Spirit, and his abilities as well. But probably the least impactful trade off to get that extra mule.
Well, the bottom shrine is in fact spawning here, and that's going to be the one shrine. Both teams making their way down. Now, SMG putting a lot of aggression on that mule. Got some work done, but they're going to negate as much of that as they can. But the Sun going there on Soldier, you're going to force them to back a little bit. Slight XP advantage here for SMG. And we're still a ways away from the Heroics. One thing you got to point out, though, Brightwing's ability to soak top a little while.
I don't know how I like them setting this up. Like, they basically gave up the position on the shrine, and they let them inside. And the gap to get into this fight area is so small and risky to get through. But
they're making it work. They're making it work. Well, Glaurung going in, he misses his combo there. The Healing Ward is thrown down in a pretty defensive position, so just kind of sit and soak in that the best they can. You can see Soldier just healing up the best he can before he goes forward. Polymorph there on Blinks. It's kind of a very fancy footwork kind of fight at this point in time. KO, though, took a lot of damage in the back line. That Lunar Flare did so much work. Blinks is going to fall. Dreadnought popping Emerald Wind because I got them level 10. That level 10 advantage forces them back. McIntyre is way out of position. We should see them throwing down a Howling Blast if available. Kerrigan going in for a fan, actually. And actually just kind of splitting up their focus. They get nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, the Howling Blast on McIntyre. Will it be enough for Arthur and Glaurung to get there? And yep, he's actually walking back to their tower. And he's going to be greeted. He's going to be. He's keeping them busy.
Yeah, that's true.
Something.
That is true. So yeah, that fight it was really strange. It was like basically all auto attacks. Just
not even dismounting. It's so PM'd. But yeah, the mules though, gotta consider.
Doing a bit of work there. And I'm curious to see how aggressive SMG is going to get in terms of pushing out onto structures, because they know about this double mule, of course.
Well, we see that Judgment going in, Divine Storm follow-up, so that's going to be a kill. Ravenous Spirit going in as well, and that's something Soldier can't really deal with. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. He shouldn't die here. He's just going to keep backing on up. But let's just look at this. I actually think we talked about this after one of the previous games where we said instead of maybe running with, I forget which heroic we said, they should grab Thrall with the Sundering and pair that with the, I think it was False Head. We were looking for the Shock and Awe, the Judgment, and then Sundering. But I think Sundering paired with Judgment is still very strong.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but there was some other heroic that you mentioned.
I said Shock. That's gonna be a rough night, guys. But right now we can see Arthlon is very low. He's backing on up. McIntyre and Blink's just kind of poking, prodding around those Zerglings, giving some vision here. I mean, this is a tense moment for Barrel Boys. They have a lot to prove by taking a game off of SMG and staying alive in this tournament.
Yeah.
And double mules already paying. I mean, they've already paid off.
Yeah.
Like they're doing so much right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Refueling the ammo on those, and of course the HP back up to full. I mean, that mid wall right there is looking pretty healthy now.
Yeah, pretty darn healthy, and the mule's still doing work. Giants have been picked up. Boss is going to be a very rare occurrence as to how risky it is. We saw that in that game earlier today with Golden Vortex versus Barrel Boys, where
I think Barrel Boys learned their lesson there.
I
can't even say they made the wrong play there, though, because they were taking it, and then they backed up appropriately when they saw that Vortex was there, and then
they went for the jump.
And then Vortex went in terms of what I thought was a greedy play. They still got away with it, but we'll have to see. I foresee that won't be taken very often, just because, like you said, how risky it is. It's going to have to be a situation where they get like 3 kills somewhat late in the game. We do have these shrines spawning, or temple spawning, sorry, top and bottom. So we'll have to curious to see how they split it up. Right now, Brightwing is sitting bottom lane here, probably will fly up or phase shift up onto someone just to make sure that they have a good presence.
Nice juke there by McIntyre.
The top,
If he had been hit with that, he probably would have died because Dreadnought was going in for the polymorph follow-up. If the full combo had landed, that would have been a triple stall there. Bottom shrine being picked up by Trummel, and they're just pushing on in. That one mule going to get cleaned up here, and they're just going to take care of this fort right quick. But SMG doing just the same, pushing on forward. Knights will be up in just about 4 seconds. They'll likely take out a tower or 2, rotate down to the Knights, and actually they're going to be doing the same exact thing. Now they're a little bit further behind, so when SMG sees this, they say, okay, let's trade out keeps. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird situation that you don't see too often. Both teams have sort of left their, I want to say, tankiest type hero back to make sure that they can continue to cap those shrines solo. And, of course, Barrel Boys is very able to see that there is a Hearth back from SMG there, and they back up appropriately. Oh, not fast enough.
Yeah, not fast enough. Well, the Sundering does a lot to zone them out, and the Judgment comes in. Glaurung took a lot of damage from that, but Starfall being used. So much damage done on this bridge. There's nowhere to run or hide from that. Uther is going to end up falling. Tyrael falls as well. We see the rotate around from the Soldier, hitting that Howling Blast on all 3 members that are still alive. Divine Storm coming out of the Ghost to try to zone them out, but Glaurung is in and throwing down the full combo, eliminating him. Trummel is in a bad spot. Fan gets dismounted by the Death Coil, and that's going to be a kill on Trummel. Fan will be the only survivor,
be a boss.
And that's a boss. They're right here.
Yeah, the positioning is very nice for it. Yeah, that was crazy. How many people got pulled into that Rain of Vengeance there? Oh, disgusting.
Let's take this time to talk about talents. We get the triple rewind for SMG and Kubiak. Why don't you just examine the rest of it?
Yes. All right. So for level 16, which SMG was just about able to hit there, we see Blood for Blood on Kerrigan. That's the extra sustain there. We do have the increased width and damage on the Ranger. That's the Ranger is the name of the talent. That's for the Sentinel. We do have Criterize for Brightwing. Another Blood for Blood on Vala, and the Stone Skin for Arthas. All, I would say, pretty standard picks there. Yeah, you mentioned the triple rewind there. That's just going to give tons of utility and interrupts for all 3 of those heroes. Really scary combo for Barrel Boys to deal with. And speaking of things that Barrel Boys has to deal with, they have a Golem pushing down bottom. They have almost the entirety of SMG. It is the entirety of SMG pushing top. They're going to have Knights in a bit. They're backed up against the wall. Double mule or not, this is a tough situation to get out of.
Yeah, I mean, SMG is taking this with stride. I mean, they have that talent advantage at this point. Level 17 to 14. They did a decent amount of damage here. They at least put some scare on, managing to fend off that keep for the time being, which is nice. Yeah. But that Golem got its weight worth in gold.
Is there a pun here?
No.
No pun here. So close.
Shrine will be spawning in 20 seconds. You can see it's going to be just the middle shrine here. SMG having that talent advantage have a pretty big leg up.
So, I mean, that said, structure-wise, things are actually pretty even. 3 keeps and 1 fort for both teams. There is that talent advantage, so I think that's going to go a long way in terms of taking control of the shrine here.
So much
the owl
mail.
hit everybody?
Wow, no, 4.
Oh,
only
4.
4.
Oh,
only 4 packages were delivered. It's not quite
Is there a
Christmas.
song that we sing when we hit all 5?
We actually have to sing Jingle Bells because it's Christmas if you hit all 5.
Yes, you're right.
No, that's how it works with packages. Do you know anything, Kubi?
Sorry.
Gosh.
Just
Well,
they're
they're currently sitting here on this. KO is going to be the last one there. He gets dismounted from the minions, but it's not going to matter much. A big Sundering goes down, but Arm of the Dead will be used to sustain. Starfall is doing so much damage. Judgment does knock Glaurung back. Glaurung is going to end up falling here, but he gets off a Primal Grasp before it's too late disrupting them. That Ravenous Spirit, though, there's nothing to interrupt it.
Kind of a weird trade situation here.
Oh, they managed to pick off the Vala, so that's a nice win there for Barrel Boys. Arthwan is going to get picked off as well. Emerald Wind might actually prevent that from happening. Polymorph goes down as well. Is Rewind available? Arth is in a very, very bad situation here. He can tap the well, but I don't think it's going to matter. We see Eldruin's Might being used, and he's going to get blown up. He throws on the Hunter's Mark to try to pick him off, and I think Dreadnought actually did end up hearthing back into base. The one survivor, Arthas is still happening to be alive.
Yep. So that fight actually started off really well for SMG. We saw the Kerrigan jumping in with the Maelstrom. We had the Starfall over the entire situation. It was really nice for them, but the Ravenous Spirit was not dealt with, and I think they just sort of lost focus of it, and it ended up doing a huge amount of damage to that back line. There are a lot of places for Nazeebo to hide on this map, just weird ledges that are sitting underneath and above a lot of the temples. No way. Yeah, I can see Uther's running up there right away because he doesn't even want to give Mule a chance to heal that thing up.
But they know he's going, and they know he's alone, and they're chasing. He's going to get this fort, but it's going to cost him his life if he does. Oh, it's
the pull! It's huge!
Ah! He misses the stun, though. The combo. Oh,
oh no! Super hype.
If the stun hit from Glaurung.
Yeah, if the stun hit, then they would still have a fort up there, and it would still be alive to this day.
And the Mule would have got a lot of work done. But
it would have. Oh,
what a silly little exchange there.
Wow, really?
Just one package. Nice. Oh, Giants will be stolen here.
Yeah, it's a 4v5. They can do it. Just Soldier was so far forward there, but they choose not to engage in on that. And I think they're gonna rotate up and take this fort here.
Yep.
Let's see why not.
Even out the structure advantage, so it's dead even at this point. Again, though, you got to remember it's 1 Mule to 2. That's the one big thing that you have to consider throughout this game, because double Mule can make a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly right. We see 11 kills to 5 right now, so you would think that the structure advantage would be considerably higher for SMG at this point, but double Mule's been really pulling its weight, and they've been able to maintain more health on their structures because of that. So.
Hear those bribe stacks ticking. That's one bribe stack available on Brightwing. Brightwing just always soaking on the other side of the map because he can, of course, space shift anywhere he would like to be.
Yep.
30 seconds left on these Knights. They're just kind of throwing that owl out, the Sentinels, to scout out where they are, knowing that it's a very likely position for them to be. Trumbull just having some internet hiccups.
Quick disconnect, looks like he's back in. Yeah, we do have that top temple available in about 30 seconds here. That's, of course, going to be a big point of contention here. Should be able to take out whichever team gets it, take a keep with that. So that's a pretty big power swing.
Both teams feeling each other out, even though this isn't, I mean, top and middle, like you said, are the temples that are spawning, and they're just feeling each other out. They're going to look for that judgment, that sundering. A big sundering could be the initiation that is needed here for Barrel Boys. One level advantage doesn't mean that much, but whoever hits 20 is going to have a really strong point, but it won't be hit in this fight. Polymorph goes down to Curse Fairy, and they know that, hey, look, Poly's on cooldown. We have an ability to get a little bit more aggressive here.
Yeah, you can see they're spacing a little bit more. They're paying attention to Fan's location because they want to make sure that they deal with that Ravenous Spirit. Both teams kind of posturing.
Oh, Soldier's taking a lot of damage. He's forced to pop Army of the Dead, and he's using that hole in there on Curse Fairy. Sundering used to disengage. The Starfall is doing so much work. He gets that root there, keeping Tyrael in place, but Soldier, is he going to fall in return? He's so low. Ravenous Spirit in the back lines. Can they get to him? Glaurung going and doing so much damage. How is he living through this? Wow, the huge Primal Grasp. He's still alive, too. I mean, he's going to, Trumbull uses Dimensional Shift at the last possible second, but does it matter?
A forward vault could do this.
But it's also risky because the wall could be there, too.
That's true.
Is it worth it? I think they just need to back up and get the shrines. Glaurung opted the Hearth back. He had no health. He knew they won that fight. 3 members down to the 1. Just Dreadnought down. And Arth has to be really careful not to get blown up here. Oh, is it enough?
The offensive dimensional shift, that should be enough to get in.
Yeah, he's going to end up falling here.
Oh, wow, okay.
I thought he might have a heal available, but a little bit cheeky, a little bit too greedy on that
I mean, he did have Frost Shot there, so if he was able to get a heal up to keep him alive, he should have been able to run away. So 2 for 3. Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah, 2 for 3. But
definitely an advantage fight for SMG, considering that gave them the edge to get level 20. We can talk about those talents right here. We actually have triple Bolt of the Storm for Kerrigan, Tyrande, and Vala, just to give them that extra mobility in those team fights to get out if they catch themselves in a bad spot. We also have Storm Shield from Brightwing, and is it Legion of Northrend? Did I get it?
Legion of Northrend.
Yes.
Look at this double mule with the shielding from Tassar. It's not going to matter, though. It's enough. And this middle fort, mules aren't going to make it there. They throw the shield down, but it's going to unload the top one onto that. Knight's being picked up here from Barrel Boys.
Not quite enough.
No, not quite enough. But the first keep has fallen of the game.
This is true, yep. So, yeah, that was a crazy fight. That fight was like all about what you like. It separates a pro Kerrigan from somebody who's just like really good at Kerrigan. Like, you know, it's such a fine line where you can go in and do enough damage to make sure that you have the shield to stay alive. And if you're not doing the damage, you die. So you got to make sure you're executing.
Wow, well, Soldier's going to manage to cap those. We see Starfall going off. Soldier's getting healed up last second, but the Ravenous Spirit is doing a ton of work. But in the meantime, 3 members have fallen for Barrel Boys. This is a really bad situation to be in. Fan is having to sprint on out of there. Obviously, there are no heroics left except for Sundering, but Thrall is actually dead presently. Fan is going to be closed on into this corner, and he will end up falling here. Primal Grasp securing that kill, and a Hedwig just for the insurance policy. Trommel looks like he's just taking his hands off the keyboard. No,
that's an entire 40 seconds that team is down. They can probably end the game here. I think that's probably what they're going to do. Are they just going to walk past it and go in for the core?
It seems to be their case. Take out the mules.
They're sick of looking at these things. And not stopping for this keep. They're going for it.
Maelstrom goes down. That's the last heroic SMG had available, doing everything they can. Trumbull's just throwing his slice from down, but he's being neglected. It looks like it's going to be a 3-0 victory for SMG in the Grand Finals. Kingstorm weekly number 9.
Yes, these guys are unstoppable. Did they even lose a game today? I don't think they did. Every single time we cast Grand Finals, it seems like over the past 3 weeks or so, it's 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. They're just looking so good, and especially with the recent roster changes, they're the team to beat now, unquestionable.
I mean, each week it seems like there's a different contender fighting them in the finals. Yeah. It's like different, like whether it's Vortex or Maelstrom or Barrel Boys or Murloc Inc. They all get there. They all defeat each other. But SMG seems to be the one coming out on top lately.
Yeah, for good reason. They're playing super well. I mean, they're getting the drafts. They're bringing some new strategies in with Tyrande, and it's all looking terrifying.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're gonna have to. I got 3 words for all the other teams. Step it up. Because you got to bring it to SMG here. You guys got to take these guys off the throne. They're just too good right now. But I think that said, that's all we got for games today, guys. I don't know what to tell you, but Jake, you got any shout-outs, or what are we looking at here? Are you flabbergasted?
Flabbergasted? No, SMG just looks way too strong right now. I mean, they're just playing like bosses. They put themselves in bad spots. Barrel Boy's playing incredibly well as well. I mean, just really decisive play. They know when to back. They know when they can be aggressive. They have incredibly strong map awareness. I mean, from week to week, I mean, they seem to be having a more and more diverse hero pool, and that's becoming more apparent and critical in all of these matches as the drafting is evolving. I mean, how many games did we see Tyrande played? A hero that was almost considered to be worthless a few weeks ago, only picked up a few times and was always considered, okay, they're going to lose because they picked up Tyrande. No changes made to her. Incredibly dominant play paired with Kerrigan. Like,
that's all it took.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of cool stuff. ETC, still not sold on him.
He's won games. It's not like he's completely undefeated here. I mean, we saw SMG pick him up last week in the finals, so it could work. You just got to make sure you have the right opposing team comp for it.
So, well, I think that's going to do it here, though. But, guys, just remember, next week, that's going to be Kings of the Storm 5. That's the big event that all these weeklies have been qualifying for.
Yes.
And the prize pool's bigger. It's an 8-man double elimination bracket with a lot more on the line. And every single game is going to be intense.
Yes, it's going to be. All the top teams are going to be there. Of course, it is a fully seeded, invitation-only tournament. And the level of play is stepped up considerably there. And that's where the big prize pool is, like you said. So people are going to be just trying hard for that one. And it's make sure you guys do not miss that one because it's going to be huge.
Yep. So, well, Kubi.
Yep.
The handshake. Ooh. The handshake.
Jake initiates the handshake
Initiating
today.
the handshake
Wow,
today.
Look at that.
And to all our viewers, thank you for the follows, the subscribes, and all the support you give us here on Kings of the Storm as we continue to grow with competitive Heroes of the Storm. We heart you very much. To our tournament admin today, Mrs. Allison. And
yes. absolutely.
the
She did a really
players.
good job running the bracket for us
Yes.
today while we were busy casting for you guys. So we miss you, Steve.
Wow.
He'll be back. He'll
Yes.
be back soon. But
And CC, hope you have a beautiful PAX South
Yep.
down in Texas. But that's going to do it here for Kings of the Storm Weekly number 9, guys.
Yep.
See you next time.